let me know if I'm again. Okay. Okay. So, good morning. Let's do one thing. Let's try to recollect what happened in the first week and today. And I think we have a lot of small information, but that has to be kind of connected. So let's use today for that. Yeah. And tomorrow we can kind of do uh, the whole 2 weeks. So if you can start by standing, actually, let's go to standing. Let's find standing. Both of us, let's find standing. Once you're there, I would like you to just close your eyes. Find a neutral stand. From here, I would like you to take all your attention to the end of your spine. Yeah, around your glutes, just above your glutes, the spine ends. That's where the lower back is. Just take all your attention to that particular spot. And relax everything. Drop your hand, drop your head, drop everything. Just stand there. And I would like you to think of just think of just being here with all your concentration on your lower back, and every other part of your body is just being here. It's not fidgeting. It's not adjusting. It's okay. 6:30 in the morning, there's no one around you. So don't adjust anything. And take your attention to your lower back and see what's the situation at your lower back. Is it tight? Is it loose? Is there any give? So you have this lower back right in the middle, kind of in the middle between your top of your head and your lower. Now take your attention to the sole of your foot. Pressurizing. Sorry. The second you start drilling those pillars, those tuning starts happening in the other joints. So really look for those tunings. So what we're doing is we're just figuring the 3 points on the floor, but the whole body is adjusting constantly. It's adjusting to this extra information. So just find that tuning that's happening in your body. The most obvious tuning that you can figure out right away is your knees. The knee starts adjusting to make sure that it accommodates this pushing. And also think of your hip, and in particularly the floor of the hip. You're observing the back of the hip now. Now you take your attention to the floor of the hip. When I say the floor of the hip is the one that is parallel to the floor when you're standing, right? So really see what's happening there. The floor of the hip starts adjusting the second you start finding the floor. Yeah. Really think of these, what's it called? Tuning that happens. It's not big movements. It's just small movements constantly doing so that you can be in this position. And take your attention there. And those tunings might also be happening at your spine. Okay. So it can also be happening at your neck. The second you push the foot into the floor, something in your neck might open up. Yeah, it may not also, but there are possibilities of lot of places opening up. But by just knowing that there's grounded, yeah, just with just that information that you're really grounded, things starts tuning throughout the body. And once you're there, kind of observed and scanned every part of the body possible, just drop your head, keep your pillars going on, drop your head and just relax into a front bend, wherever you are today. Yeah, go as far as you can go. You don't have to reach anything. All you need to do is just let the weight of your torso just stretch itself wherever you are and completely relax. Relax your shoulder. You can just lock your hand around your elbows. Just drop it. And when you're in the front bend, I would really encourage you to find your attention to the hip, but this to the front of the hip. See if actors fold. Forget this thing. There's a fold that's happening in this position. Trying to fold happens at your most fold. And once you're there, just bend your knees and roll up. Roll up. And let's come to the screen. Let's come to the screen. I would like you to sit in front of the, what's it called? The screen. Maybe you should have enough space for the hands to go up like this. So if you can place yourself so that there's enough space to open up your hand, that would be very useful. Okay, once you're sitting, let's do the same thing with the sitting bone. Find your sitting bone. As we just found our, what's it called? Sole of the feet, we'll just find the sitting bone. Like find your sitting bone. And once you're there, I would like you to just send your hands up towards, like with the shoulder height. Once you're here, you just take one hand up. So when you're up here, I want to see the extension of this opposite rib. So here, this rib, okay. What I'm trying to do is I'm lifting this hand, not with the purpose of lifting, with the purpose of like kind of opening this accordion. Think of this as an accordion that can do that. No? Accordion. Mera naam Joker accordion. So think of that opening. And as this opens, something has to close. No, so the opposite is closing. Just, just that actually. You're going down. You go to the other side. Once you're here, you breathe in and you open up the accordion. See, what's happening is we are also doing this, guys. Can you see that there is this that's happening? I'm finding the length of the hand by closing my, what's it called? Mm, Closing my shoulders. Yeah, don't do that. Just keep the shoulders here. Open up your, uh, yeah, nice. So let's do that. Take your hands to the side. No, no, I'll work it. I'll work it. I'll work it. Okay, when you're up, no, keep your hands up like this. So don't do anything else. So the palm is facing you when you're up. Okay, don't drop. Like Ananya, you're going out. So turn your hands in. Did you hear me? Is Ananya stuck? Yeah, is Ananya stuck? Okay,
Yeah.
chalo, let's go. Let's go. So go start taking your hands up. Once you're in the center, keep the other hand wherever it is. Take this hand up. Once you're up, make sure you relax first. Relax your shoulder first. So take your hand up. From there, you just drop. Yeah. And then keep this position here and then go. Nice. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going. Yeah, yeah. Keep going. Keep going, keep going. And then change. Change the other side. Nice. Keep going, keep going. Yeah. Do it 2 more times. But see, really find the space in the side of your hip. And maybe what you can do is once you're at the maximum, you can just maybe drop this side and go towards the side also. Just think of that lateral movement that's possible in your torso. Chalo, last time. See if you can have the maximum space between your ears and the shoulder. Okay. Okay, let's go back to standing. Once we are standing, I would like to do two things that we did in the last week. So we just expanded our torso like this. No, we were going up and up and up. So find a way to continue that. You're going up. So maybe you can just get into a mode where you're trying to constantly go up. For a popular reference, for us to understand, think of yai re, yai re, yai re. That one, but really take your hand up. So we are trying to make space between our rib cage. Yeah. But with the leg, go back to the boom, 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 boom thing that we did. Go back to the bouncing that we. So let's start with bouncing. So everything below your hip is going down. Everything below your above your hip is trying to reach out. Yeah. What is it to reach out? Yeah. Let's start with the bouncing and I'll play the music. At some point the music comes and start moving to the music. Okay.
dancing in my underpants. I'm gonna run for government. Back there by the baby grand, did Mr. Winter Wonderland say,
Reaching your hands.
We really need to talk. Bear with me, man, I lost my train of thought.
Go with the music.
Fantasize, I call it quits. I swear economists, and I get to the bottom of it for good. By the time reality hits, the chimes of freedom fell to bits. The shining city on the fritz. They come out of the cracks, thirsty for blood. Just as the apocalypse finally gets prioritized, and you cried some of the hottest tears you ever cried, multiplied by 5. I suppose the singer must die.
We continue what you're doing, but see if you can walk around the room with this. Yeah, you keep the groove going, go walk around the room, like walk basically.
Sing song round the money tree, this stunning documentary that no one else unfortunately saw. Such beautiful photography, it's worth it for the opening scene. I've been driving around listening to the score, or maybe I just imagined it all. I've played to quiet rooms like this before. Bear with me, man, I lost my train of thought.
Okay, let's come back to the room, to the screen. Let's quickly have a conversation before we continue. Any observation?
It was easier to keep the rhythm of moving arms up while walking rather than bouncing. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I
that
know.
seemed like dancing or something, right? This was like,
Uh,
okay, this was some constant bouncing and then
yeah.
difficult to coordinate with the rhythm that way.
So you were walking in the groove. That's what you say. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible. It's a possibility. Yeah. Nice.
What did we do before this? But
We just stood. We just stood and we did a roll down and roll up. We sat and we opened up our rib cage, and that's it. Yeah.
that accordion metaphor was interesting.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Which is no, it is. We're not so much, but we can still do that. It's like it's not stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. And yeah. Walking is easier than bouncing. Bouncing is quite some effort.
Work.
Yeah.
Nice. One more thing that we did on the first day was there was something about the triangle, and there was also something about the space, if I'm not mistaken. So today I would like to just touch upon that. I want you to just put this information at the back of your head and let it be. Yeah. Don't try to answer or analyze or anything. There is something about opposition. Okay. For you to move from a place to one place to the other place, your body should work in coordination with each other and in opposition with each other. If something is going down, something has to go up. If something is going right, something has to go left. There is this, if this shoulder has to come front, it can't just come independently on itself. It can't just be here. Something has to move. The more further I go, the more opposition I'm creating. Right? Is it clear? Like for instance, if I'm going this side, I have to open up this side of the rib cage, and something else has to close down, and that happens in every joint. And normally it's the opposite. One is closing and one is opening. One is closing and one is opening. For instance, here, if I do that, this is closing, this is opening, right? But here, this is closing and this is opening. So there's some opposition that happens in sync. Yeah. And that happens. You don't really have to think about it. Yeah. But it happens. Every movement has that. So have that information at the back of your head. In the system, for something to expand, something has to contract. And when this action is constant, and if you find the right rhythm of what is contracting, what is expanding, movement is possible. If not, it's stuck. Yeah, it might be the most strongest thing. If you don't know how to use the opposition, it's kind of stuck. So just keep this information at the back of your head. The act of expansion and contraction that happens constantly. And for any movement, there should be an collaboration and opposition at the same time. It's like all the muscles have to collaborate with each other and work oppositely to go boom, 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 boom. Yeah, just keep that information as an information. It's not a fact. It's not something that you have to analyze. Just observe in your body, even if it is a truth. Yeah. I will play a piece of music. I would like you to go into the space. And once you're in the space, the first thing I would like you to do is just observe every small detail of this surrounding. And as you observe, so let's say I'll see a bulb in the room, I'll point at the bulb. Okay, and I hold that position. And then I will look exactly opposite to that bulb, wherever that is, and then keep pointing at this point. And then once I find that, I point something else, and then I go opposite to that, whatever that opposite means, and then find some other point, point it. So you're just pointing at things first of all, you recognize the room, and then you point something that you recognize, point, go away from it, find something else, point, go away from it, find something else, point, go away from it. Just that's the exercise. Yeah. And if you feel like, and that's it, you observe, point, and go, no, but you can do the way you want. You can groove with the music, you can point it from wherever you want. You're just pointing out the space and figure out, yeah, you can also use space though. You can do that, but it's like through it, but the space. You have to be through the space. It has to be pointing at the space. Yeah. Let's see what happens. And you can groove with it. You're going around and pointing and dancing. That's all you're doing, pointing and looking away. Like, hey, go that side. Hey, yeah. Let's see what happens. Chalo. Start off. Look around, recognize all those things. What is it to recognize something in the room and pointing at it and moving away from it? Just that.
You gotta know I'm feeling love, made it gold. I never loved another one, another you. It's gotta be love, I said it. You gotta know I'm feeling love. You gotta know I'm feeling love. You gotta know I'm feeling love, made it gold. I'll never love another one, another you. It's gotta be love, I said it. I might as well be in our garden. I said I smell in the air is a dripping rose. Give me the wine for me. I know the soda be my warden. Of anything there that's made of gold. A physical kiss is nothing without it. And you close your eyes to see what it's done. The body that lies is built up on looking. It's all that remains before it's begun. You gotta know I'm feeling love, made it gold. I'll never love another one, another you. It's gotta be love, I said it. You gotta know I'm feeling love, made it gold. I'll never love another one, another you. It's gotta be love, I said it. A heart will swell before it's hardened. With the flick of the hair, it can make you old. Another hole to dig my soul in. I'll leave anything bare that keeps me sold. A physical kiss is nothing without it. And you close your eyes to see what it's done. The body that lies is built up on looking. Is all that remains before it's begun. You gotta know I'm feeling love, made it gold. I'll never love another one, another you. It's gotta be love, I said it. You gotta know I'm feeling love, made it gold. I'll never love another one, another you. It's gotta be love, I said it. You gotta know I'm feeling love, made it gold. I'll never love another one, another you. It's gotta be love, I said it.
Okay, let's come back to the screen very quickly. Anything very quickly in 2-3 sentences because I want to do this again. What anything to share?
the neck gets tight or whatever
Mm.
when you turn.
Mm.
So you can
You can
feel.
keep moving, huh? You can keep moving. You don't
Hey,
have to lock it. Mm-hmm.
you didn't say
Ah.
that.
You're sorry. You just look and look away anywhere you want. I just don't want to look at the place that you pointed. Sorry for being ambiguous
No, I looked
with the
away.
information.
But if you look away and hold that, then it's
Don't
like.
hold, don't hold.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
Don't hold. You look away. I don't want you to look at the point, like you just gave a lot of importance to one point and you go away from it. That was the thing. Anyway, Madam, it's okay. It's not a
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, it was fun going on the grove and finding things.
This is what I would like to do now. So, if you have the flexibility to go at an outdoor place like a balcony or in Adil's case just outside the door, still have a stable internet. Is it possible?
Again, I have to go to the terrace.
But okay, can you do that?
Yeah, it's
Are
that.
you
If
on a
it's not
phone?
then,
Oh,
yeah.
is it? Okay, don't forget it. Let's do the outdoor thing sometime else. This is what I would like you to do. I'll point at, I don't know, I'll point at an object. Okay. And then there is this object which doesn't have a language or any other senses that we have, where like we understand the world with a very particular set of senses. Like I experiencing touch, like this object doesn't have it as long as we know it. But just try to communicate with that object with only the movement. Whatever you do, you do. Whatever you do, you do. Even if you just point and stare at it. But really have an existential crisis with this object, whatever that is. And that object can be really close, it can be really far. Okay. And you do a set of movements and you're trying to communicate with this object. You don't even know what you're communicating, to be honest. But there is this some attempt of, is it even possible to like communicate something with this object which doesn't really have anything in common when it comes to senses? It doesn't have anything that as of we know. Yeah. It's very vague. Yeah. Make sense of it is from your own, whatever it is. Yeah. But if it is hurting, change. But first rule of my class, if it is hurting, change. If it's still hurting, stop. Yeah. So just change. Yeah. Uh, and this time the sound will be also a bit challenging. Let's see what happens. So you're basically pointing at an object instead of completely ignoring it. I am pointing at a cup and I'm going to have a conversation with the cup, whatever that is. This is what I want you to know, cup, whatever that is.
Okay, entire time,
You
or do we
group.
change objects?
No, you
Only
keep
one of
changing. You keep
keep
changing.
changing.
Yeah, you don't. Nothing is important. You just have a conversation with the cup. If it is long. If it is boring, you just go to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but really find things like inanimate things in around you. Yeah, and have a like really give a proper attempt to have a communication. Yeah, chalo. Let's start. When you're ready, start.
We can do this by sitting down, right?
No, do it. We can start with sitting down, but go through the room, walk around. Chalo.
कारा नहीं तेरी काया नहीं तेरी काया नहीं तो 2 दिन की जिंदगानी, ये तो 2 दिन की जिंदगानी, जिंदगानी ये तो पत्थर ऊपर पानी, जैसा पत्थर ऊपर पानी, ये तो होवेगी कुर्बानी, काया नहीं तेरी नहीं तेरी, 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 काया नहीं तेरी नहीं तेरी। जैसा रंग तरंग मिलावे, जैसा रंग तरंग मिलावे,
Okay, let's find an ending, come back to the center. How was it? What was it?
It was very short
How
to
was it to?
reflect on, Macha. Barely
It
happened
was
like that.
about 5 minutes, huh? You guys were really going for it. Normally
That was
at
5
3
minutes,
minutes you
huh?
give up.
Oh,
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
way.
we
oh,
started.
it seemed like very short.
Wait, let me give you exactly how much is it.
3
Four and a
minutes.
half minutes. 4.5 minutes. And it took me 30 seconds to play it. So you guys really like Kabir, huh? Very, very sly you are. Huh. So there was from the day one, I was just wanting to figure out like how do you find balance from the foundation rather than finding the balance from the top. And like this, there's something about the opposition that we did where everything below your hip is grounded and everything above your hip is actually reaching. It has the whole potential to float and do all those things like this. But this is only possible because the like legs are moving and they're kind of grounding. And also you said it was easy when we were walking. So when you're standing, legs are also doing double the work because it's the same place. Once you have momentum, it's easy. There's something about walking helps a lot of times. When you have also a mental problem, you just take a walk. Just like the body wants to walk and there is some result for it's different for different people, but for most of us momentum like starts doing something. But with this dancing with the object is a even I don't know what it is. Like some of the times what I when some of the times what I think is when you kind of communicate with a system which doesn't understand your system. Like if I'm communicating with an economy and say, listen, yeah, I'm really in trouble. I just need money. But they'll be like, they'll put their own system on it. No. For you to have money, you need to do this, and this. Like, no, fuck the voucher. I need now. Like that, but that what is that communication? Something that the other system doesn't want to understand from your understanding. It doesn't understand from the emotion. It doesn't understand from all the senses. It has its own logic. But this action of communicating with something and also in dance, we kind of do that. We kind of do this activity as a ritual where you're communicating with a sculpture, we are communicating with a tree, where you're communicating. I'm also putting rituals as an art. A lot of times, all this communication that happens with an object, that the object doesn't really know what's happening. It doesn't have the necessity senses to get what we are trying to say, but we still insist on it. We still insist on the tree, talking to the tree. I can still understand a pet. At least they can see, they can hear, they can feel. There is some translation that happens. But for a stone, for a thing. So, yeah, I'll open up this conversation with that information. The technique was basically finding the position in the body and moving. But what is it to communicate with something that has no reference point to your understanding of surrounding? Have a conversation, have a tippany about it.
Yeah, it was nice. So I was like being very expressive and to the object, using eyes, hand movements. So it was like a nice dance or expressive emotion and all that. And then the object is just there. But yeah, still, it's like I don't know what it is thinking or whether it can think also or what is happening there. But still, it's like each thing exists from our own perception, no? So like whatever
Mm,
meaning we put to it. Then I started
mm,
going into some philosophical things. So like I looked at my eyeliner dabba and then I'm like, oh, you're so uh, what you're closed, and then but then you're keeping the thing safe, and then okay, opening up some random and then brush or gloves, okay, you keep comfort,
mm.
something and all. Like okay,
Nice.
as if communicating that feeling, the
Mm,
object. So
mm,
I'm only imagining what it is feeling like that.
mm.
But then yeah, that kind of
Nice.
conversation was like a nice rhythm. And the music helped, like it was very emotional music. No. That's a
Mm,
heavy vibe.
mm,
It's like oh, I'm also emotional, everyone is emotional.
mm. Mm. Nice.
So there was it was like objectifying. You're taking an object and giving
Mm,
it full attention.
mm,
But there was, like you mentioned, like
mm,
moving towards or of giving full attention to an object. It had
mm.
some sacred thing to it, like
Yeah.
right, some. So it was objectifying, but with a foundation of something, um, like
Mm,
you're trying to communicate to it, or like I was trying to
mm,
convince a pillow for some reason, or I was trying to, move towards the broom, or
mm,
try to hold the mug. So there is some relationship which
mm,
seemed more than transactional. It was not transactional.
mm,
When you move
mm, mm,
for an object, it can't be
mm,
transactional, because otherwise you would just move up to it and sleep on it or drink from it, or
mm,
in my case, never broom
mm,
sweep the room. But I guess so. Something beyond transactional, the relationship becomes
mm,
when you're sort of moving to an
mm,
object. I think before I've experienced it with people, like we move with people
mm,
also, then there is something beyond.
mm.
It's relational. The relationship
Mm.
is relational, not transactional or
Transactional.
even
Mm,
reciprocative. So I think for
mm,
me that came up, that your entire
mm,
attention is on an object, so everything else
mm.
becomes you know clouded, and
Yeah.
when you give attention to the object, you're noticing
Mm,
details about it. You're noticing what
mm,
is the emotional quality with which you are approaching or moving away, or what is it that you want to
mm,
do to an object. So I can have some
mm.
sympathy now for idol idol worship and wanting to
Mm.
dance to seemingly inanimate objects.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's funny, how it becomes very important, even if it is just some object and it is just lying down there all the time. It's not useful at all sometimes. But
Yeah.
still, you put in, like, that's something that I wanted to explore in the next day. There's something about our attention. Like the second I give attention to something, it becomes important. And like the way I use it in my dances, if I'm moving, I give complete attention to what's happening in the body. And that's what I'm offering for the person who's observing, if at all someone is observing. My idea is to I'll give complete attention to something that's happening. And if I change that attention to an object, the being of the object changes. And more and more, I think we are just giving that kind of attention to just one aspect of a transaction, which is the money. There is so much attention to that. Like, it's not about what money can do anymore. Like, more and more I think about it, it's not about I need food, I want money. It's the other way around always. So I need money for why? It's okay, we just need money, just collect it. So that aspect, as the bank balance has taken that role of this object that you need to have always in around you. I think before, at least, it was like transactional, to be honest. They used to make always, okay, we need to be around a tree, we need to be around a water body, we need to be surround around self, like where is food, and within that they'll have like a gold or a salt or something else which kind of shows, okay, this is the value I have. But more and again, this is not making sense to myself also, because I was dancing to an economy book last night. So, so I don't know how to translate this, but there is this engagement that we do, which is not transactional, as you said. I think as you were talking, some clarification happened in my life, in my head, in my life also. It's not transactional. I'm just giving, what is it? This is what, and the other person also doesn't know what to do with it. It's so temporary. This person just had this, you just moved in front of me, beautiful, what's next?
Mm.
But if you do it with an object, and that's exactly kind of, we're doing this dance with an object which doesn't really care, but there is so much value for that just because we gave value for that.
Yeah. So like there is a concept of sacred ecology, right? Devarkadu, this, that, like, and you sort of dance to, or look up to the thing. What would sacred economy look like? Like, do you
Mm.
dance? Like, how do you have sacred economy? What would that look like? Which has a lot
Yeah,
of
it's a,
not just physical movement, and like things
mm,
are flowing, where things are moving, there is
mm,
balance. So yeah,
mm,
something
Yeah,
something
if you look at it, economy is like a dance, no? Like flow of, it keeps flowing from one place to another.
yeah.
But then
yeah.
we are hesitant to make it flow outwards. We
Mm,
want it to only flow in one way. But
Yeah,
then
mm.
economy has become a march past. It's no longer a dance. It's like
mm,
move. So how do you make it more reciprocal, more relational? That is where the
Mm.
all the thing that we're learning, I think, comes in.
Good, good, good. And how is your body feeling? Are you guys stretched? Have you been worked out a bit? I think yesterday we really went for it.
Yeah, today was lightweight in terms of, yeah.
Lightweight. Yeah, movement. Yeah, yeah. Good. Tomorrow is last day of the week. No, I would like to see if I can just close both the weeks, because we dealt with balance and off balance in the like 2 weeks. And the next week we'll see what happens. Huh? I think next week will be something to do with making sense of what happened in the last 2 weeks, at least physically, not in your brain. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Hey, can we stop the recording?
yeah. 1 second.